Today we're going to be talking about boundaries and the limits of states. The definition of a boundary is a line separating one state from another. It's where one state's power or sovereignty ends and another begins. Boundary lines are vertical from the air to beneath the ground. Boundaries determine which language you learn, how much you pay in taxes, and the legal code you must follow. Physical boundaries, physical or natural boundaries are those based on recognizable physiographic features such as mountains, rivers, or lakes. They have proved to be unsatisfactory borders and they do not effectively separate. Geometric boundaries are straight lines that serve as political boundaries that are unrelated to physical and/or cultural differences. As we can see on the maps here, these are the boundaries of African nations or countries. And then, of course, here we are with the states in the United States. A cultural boundary is a boundary that separates different cultures. As we can see here, we have Serbia, Montenegro, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia. This region used to be one and has separated out into cultural boundaries based on ethnic groups. A superimposed boundary is a political boundary that has been forced upon the inhabitants of an area to solve a problem and/or conflict. The Berlin Conference was Africa's undoing in more ways than one. The colonial powers superimposed their domains on the African continent and did not take into consideration the cultural boundaries there. The relict boundary is a boundary that ceases to exist, however, the imprint of the boundary still remains on the cultural landscape, such as South Vietnam and North Vietnam. A boundary demarcation, there are no physical signs on Earth's surface to show that a boundary exists. Many of our boundaries have that. They're not physical boundaries, they're political ones. A fortified boundary is one that is constructed, it's a physical barrier along a boundary to either keep people in or out of its territory. An example here would be the Great Wall of China. An example over here would be part of our boundary with Mexico. Boundary disputes. Boundaries and borders create many possibilities for conflict. The more neighbors a state has, the more likely the chance for a conflict. Definitional or positional disputes. It's a disagreement about an actual location of a boundary. Here we have one with a disputed border between Peru and Ecuador. Territorial disputes are two states arguing over a territory occupied by an ethnic group. It is caused most often by superimposed boundaries. Those are that were drawn by colonial powers or whatnot. Allocational or resource disputes is a disagreement over the control or use of shared resources, such as fishing grounds or oil fields.